All right, time to go over some full body warm up. We're going to start off with a kneeling weighted lunge. The point of this exercise is to get the hips moving correctly. So we're going to get into this kneeling position with our front foot 45 degrees turned out. And we're going to sink that hip into that foot and kind of get that leg tracking over the big foot while having the back foot aligned with the starting position of the hip. Upper body wise, I just want you to relax, hold the dumbbell in between your hands and allow your hips to get through their full range of motion. Moving on to banded clamshells, we want to make sure that our shoulders, hips, and knees are in line, having the band slightly above our knees, and we're really trying to squeeze the glute in order to move our knees away, or rather one knee away from the other one. We're not trying to squeeze the glute by getting the knee higher. This exercise is to activate the glute, so think of activating the glute, not just moving the knee through its range of motion. This one is one of my favorites. We're going to go into a reverse lunge into a sprinter's pose, and it is exactly what it looks like. The main thing I want you to kind of focus on here is making sure that you're slow and controlled, getting your hand and leg coordination done properly. This might take you a while, so take your time to kind of learn this and get your coordination between your hands and your legs done. The add-on to the sprinter's pose to reverse lunge will be a hip airplane. It's a very similar position. It's a little bit more advanced, so if you need something to hold on to, that is perfectly acceptable. You're going to go into this kind of bent over RDL position. You want your back leg and torso in line. Front leg has a slight bend in the knee, and you're rotating from the hip, opening and closing like this. You're going to do anywhere from 5 to 10 reps. On almost all of these exercises, anywhere from 5 to 10, maybe 5 to 15 reps. The better you get at these, the more reps you'll be able to do with better form. Moving on to kneeling wall rotations. This one is a little bit tough because being in this kneeling position, I also want to make sure that my knee that is forward, the knee doesn't come away from the wall too far, and as well as that hand that's supposed to be against the wall doesn't come off the wall. And then moving on to some rib cage stuff. This is the cat-cow. Very simple. You're going to get into all fours on a quadruped position, making sure your hands are about shoulder width apart. Same thing with the knees and your feet as well, hip width apart for those. And while you're doing these, I want you to make sure that you can really get a deep stretch in the rib cage. And then moving on from that, we have banded dislocations. Now I want you to keep a very keen eye on my lower back position here. This is what we do not want to do. We do not want to arc our lower back. Instead, we want to keep our core engaged, core tight. This almost means crunching down your rib cage into your hips. So you'll feel like you have a little bit more tenacity in your core. And then from there, banded pull aparts, very simple. You're going to keep that same engaged core position while pulling the band apart, squeezing your shoulder blades together. We're almost done here, going into a single arm pull over. This one is a little bit tricky because you have to take your time with it. As you can see from the very top, I'm protracting or pushing my shoulder forward, bringing my arm back, pushing my shoulder up into a shrug position, and then bringing it back into the starting position. So right about here, I'll shrug and then bring my arm back. This whole time, I'm trying to keep my arm straight. Last one here, one of my favorites, bottoms up kettlebell press. For this, you're going to need to get into a standing position with your core engaged, your shoulder, your elbow in your shoulder height, pressing up and back. You can see a better position here from this angle. I'm trying to push that kettlebell back above my head while using that other hand to maintain balance. And this entire time I am keeping my core engaged. And that is it. You're ready.